Chapter 1. Want to achieve more? Change your mindset. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. Your individual power dwells deep within you. Far too many people create an idea, believe it's going to work, and then they hit a roadblock. Something small and usually quite insignificant. And then from there, they forget, they give up. If this is something you've done in the past, don't feel downcast. You're amongst the majority. What matters is that you change the way you do things from this point onwards. Once you believe in an idea, keep going and don't give up when things inevitably get a little tough. Think and Grow Rich was originally published almost 65 years ago and has been remastered for the current day. The ideas are the same, having made huge successes of people you might have heard of, including John D. Rockefeller, Theodore Roosevelt, Alexander Graham Bell, and Thomas Edison. It can do the same for you. What you need to do is develop the mental tools and determination to avoid giving up when the going gets tough. It really is all within your mind. Success comes to those who become success conscious. Failure comes to those who allow themselves to become failure conscious. Napoleon Hill. Did you know? Your brain can be set up for failure or it can be set up for success. It's up to you to choose which one you want to pursue. Chapter 2. How do you achieve unwavering desire? The first step toward developing the mindset we just mentioned is to achieve desire. Not just any old desire, but desire which is strong and unwavering, no matter what comes your way. In the past, you might have given up when things got a little tough, but how do you know you weren't almost there? Unwavering desire is regular desire taken a step further. When you harness the power of unwavering desire, you can overcome any obstacle that comes your way. During the gold rush, a large family discovered a supply of gold, but they didn't have the machinery to mine it. They put together a plan to obtain the machinery and began to dig. They realized they had one of the best mines in Colorado, and everything was fantastic for a short period of time. Then, out of nowhere, they couldn't find the gold. It had dried up, disappeared. They gave up and sold the machinery, cutting their losses. What they didn't realize was that if they had continued digging for just 3 feet more, they would have found the gold once more, affected by a simple fault line. Another family did indeed find that gold and obtained the riches the original family would have had if they hadn't given up. If you give up, how can you be sure that you didn't miss out on something amazing? This is an all too familiar situation, but by turning your mindset on its head and developing unwavering desire to achieve your goal, you are far less likely to give up. Edwin C. Barnes is a great example of this. He had a burning desire to work with Thomas Edison. He didn't stop until he made that desire a reality, working with the great man for more than 30 years. Create a plan and recite it to yourself twice a day to create desire at an unwavering level. So, how do you develop unwavering desire? You control your thoughts. You tell yourself what you want, the more specific the better, and you create a definite plan to get it. You write all of this down and you read it aloud to yourself 2 times a day. Within a short amount of time, your desire will grow to levels that cannot be beaten down with small roadblocks. Did you know? The human brain is capable of far more than we actually know. Scientists are still trying to work it all out, but the striatum and the orbital frontal cortex are thought to be associated with motivation. Chapter 3. Faith cannot be seen, but is all-powerful. Many people struggle with faith because it is invisible, it cannot be seen or measured, and that makes it confusing to the logical human brain. Faith is a state of mind, but it can be controlled and created by something called autosuggestion. This basically means that you can create a powerful sense of faith by telling yourself what you want to believe. Autosuggestion can help you program your brain to believe whatever you want to become true. Use this to create your future plans and give them extra power. Using visualization and affirmations, you send firm instructions to your subconscious, which soaks it all up like a sponge. From there, you make a plan and follow it through. Faith and desire will see you through any potential issues which come your way. People who first come into contact with a particular criminal activity, e.g. theft or drugs, hate it at first, but when they are around it for a long period of time, they grow used to it. If that person is around that crime for a long enough time, they will become influenced by it. All of this is down to repetition seeping into the subconscious mind. You are effectively training your mind. To achieve faith, you need to use autosuggestion, and that involves talking to yourself firmly on a daily basis. You need to tell yourself what you want and demand persistence and action from yourself. You need to tell yourself that you're going to develop confidence in yourself and that you aren't going to stop trying until you get what you want. This is your manifesto, something you sign verbally. Throughout this, you also realize that you cannot succeed if your actions affect others detrimentally. Keep your karma points clear. Give yourself demands. Tell yourself that you're going to be confident in your idea and you're not going to stop when things get tough. This is your verbal manifesto, a promise to yourself of what you're going to do to get where you need to be. In addition to this verbal manifesto, you should visualize already achieving what you want. How does it feel? What does it look like? All of this will help to influence your subconscious and therefore develop that invisible faith. Did you know? Religion itself is based upon faith, something we cannot see, but feel and believe to be true. The same can be said for your desire to achieve. Chapter 4. Don't generalize. Make your knowledge specialized. We falsely think that knowledge is power. But what use is it to clog up your brain with all manner of random pieces of information that are never going to be useful to you in your own life? Surely it's better to aim towards specializing your knowledge, focusing on the areas which are going to come in useful and which are going to inform your future actions and plans. There are two types of knowledge, and both are powerful. One is general, and one is specialized. Specialized knowledge will help you take huge leaps forward in your particular niche. Knowledge itself doesn't bring you riches. It simply influences your plan and therefore your actions. Henry Ford pointed out this idea very clearly. He was asked about his general knowledge, or lack thereof, and he questioned why he would bother cluttering up his own brain with general knowledge when he had people around him who could tell him whatever he needed to know. Ford might not have been the most formally educated person in the world, but he made sure that his knowledge was specialized in his niche, and therefore made firm decisions based upon it. What this basically means is that you should avoid trying to learn all the answers to the questions on Trivial Pursuit, and instead focus on areas connected to what you want to achieve. Did you know? A mentor is someone who can help you learn specialized skills and knowledge in your niche. Do you have someone you can ask to help you in this way? Chapter 5. If you can imagine, you can achieve. As children, we're always told to imagine and dream, but somehow, as we get a little older, we stop doing it. If you want to achieve your own dreams in adulthood, you need to continue imagining, but focus it a little more sharply. Imagination isn't useless when you reach adolescence. You simply need to ensure that you focus your creative skills on areas which make sense to your aims. Your imagination is where you come up with ideas and you make your plans. There is a saying that you can create anything which the human mind can picture or imagine. This is proven when you think about the huge leaps forward we've made in technology. Who would have dreamed that we would be able to speak to people on the other side of the world simply using a computer? Who would have dreamed that we would regularly be sending people into outer space? These were all ideas that were created in someone's imagination. There are types of imagination. Synthetic imagination allows you to reaffirm existing knowledge. Creative imagination allows you to dream up new ideas and plans. It's important to use the right one. Synthetic isn't really about coming up with anything new. It is simply about rehashing the things we already know. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is extremely powerful, and it is where the brain communicates with something called infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence allows you to focus on your end plan, taking you where you want to go. It is through this which you experience those hunches or flashes of ideas which don't seem to have much sense or reason. These are the ideas which have brilliance about them, and whilst they might not be logical when they first arrive, the process of making a plan and developing it will turn into a reality if you can foster total desire and faith. Did you know the right side of your brain is thought to be responsible for creative thoughts? Chapter 6. Be a leader and make a firm plan. When you begin to turn your ideas and hunches into a plan, this plan needs to be definite and organized. The more definite and organized you are, the more likely your plan is to succeed. You cannot do this alone, however, and you need to create a team of people who you can bounce ideas off, gain advice, and a new perspective. Our author calls these your mastermind alliance, and you need to choose these people carefully whilst ensuring harmony and fairness amongst all of you, meeting up on a regular basis to move forward with your plan. Your mastermind alliance is made up of people who can help you turn your plan into a reality. Who is on your shortlist? Did you know that Thomas Edison failed around 10,000 times before he actually came up with the famous light bulb invention? 10,000 times! Reading that sounds terrible, but these failures were only temporary. He continued to believe, he didn't give in, and he eventually got where he needed to be. Remember, a quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Every adversity, every failure, every heartbreak carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill. The point is that you should expect to fail a few times, because this is simply a part of life. Even the most organized of plans is going to hit roadblocks, but you simply rebuild it and try once more. Your mastermind alliance will help you with this. Of course, you need to be a leader amongst your alliance and develop the right leadership skills. These include total courage, the ability to control yourself and your actions, a sense of justice, keen decision-making skills, the ability to make definite plans, always going above and beyond. A pleasant, easygoing, and understanding personality. Responsible, someone who will accept responsibility when required. Being able to cooperate and work well with others. A high-quality leader doesn't pretend to know it all. They appreciate that further learning and development is always needed. Do a self-analysis of your leadership skills, and don't be afraid to ask yourself hard questions. By becoming a firm leader, you will be able to make firm plans which can weather storms, perhaps through a little rebuilding along the way. If things fall by the wayside once, simply pick yourself up and carry on. Did you know? Richard Branson has had public failings with his Virgin Company, yet he continues to see every failure as a learning opportunity. Chapter 7. Avoid procrastination. Be firm in your decisions. The most successful people on the planet are able to make quick and firm decisions without allowing procrastination to affect their choices. Henry Ford himself was renowned for his ability to make fast decisions, but then if changes needed to be made, he was slow to do so, checking every avenue beforehand. This is true of some of the most successful people who have ever walked on this planet. Make sure and fast decisions, but reevaluate slowly. Caring too much about what other people think or listening to opinions is simply going to slow you down. If you care too much about the opinions of other people, you're not going to be able to create that desire or faith because you're too concerned about others. You should only care about your own thoughts and the thoughts of those within your mastermind alliance. For this reason, be very selective with whom you let into your group. Friends and family might mean well, but it rarely works. Focus on the opinions of those who matter and avoid listening to what everyone thinks all the time. Being definite and firm in your decisions, however, takes a lot of courage in many cases. Our author brings to mind the 56 men who put their signature on the Declaration of Independence. They put their lives on the line, definite in their choice. Whilst your decision might not be quite so dramatic, it needs to be equally as definite and firm. Did you know? Comparisons are rife in modern life, but caring about what others think of you forces you to make decisions for others and not yourself. Chapter 8. Persistence is key in the route towards success. We've mentioned a few times already about possible roadblocks and not giving up. This is helped by a huge amount of persistence. This is true power and will help turn your unwavering desire into cash. Persistence can be described as willpower, but when you add this to desire, it's a combination which little can get in the way of. Persistence is willpower turned up a notch. Many people throughout history who have been extremely persistent have been labeled cold-blooded or even ruthless. Again, Henry Ford was labeled in exactly the same way, but in so many ways he was misunderstood. He simply had a desire that reached an intensity where nothing could get in his way. He wanted it so much that he was persistent no matter what. One of the main reasons that people fail is because they don't have persistence, or not enough of it in general. Persistence might mean you have to move slowly, baby steps even, but if you're moving, it's progress. Persistence is developed via the following traits: having a purpose, a very definite one, desire, being self-reliant, making very definite plans, ensuring specialized knowledge, working with others, i.e. your mastermind alliance, strong willpower, creating positive habits. Did you know? The dictionary definition of willpower is control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. Chapter 9. Harness your sexual tension to create the ultimate power. Sexual tension is an extremely powerful emotion, but in your effort toward creating monetary rewards, you can use that tension to your benefit. There are 3 main reasons for sex. Basically, to ensure the human race continues onward, to ensure sound health, both physical and emotionally, and also to help transform regular ideas into genius ideas through something called transmutation. It is that 3rd reason which can help you to create a very powerful force. Transmutation is the process of changing something into an energy form. In this context, you're changing sexual tension or frustration and turning it into something positive and useful. This is called sex transmutation, and it means changing your thoughts about sex from a purely physical standpoint to something which can drive you onwards. When you add romance and love into the mix, you're getting a very strong and powerful driver, which in many cases throughout history has been enough to ensure success. Sex transmutation means redirecting the mind from physical thoughts to creative efforts. Using sex transmutation doesn't mean you need to become celibate. It simply means that you need to look at sexual tension in a different way. It is about using that tension in a positive and constructive way and giving it a creative outlet, something which you can use to channel your willpower, persistence, imagination, and courage. Sex transmutation isn't about becoming celibate. It's about harnessing power that you have within you already and allowing it to build. Research in the past has shown that those individuals who went on to achieve great things were often highly sexual, and they learned how to use sex transmutation to their own benefit. Chapter 10. The power of the brain and the subconscious mind. Both the brain and the subconscious mind can be affected to a large degree by autosuggestion, something we talked about a little earlier. Your subconscious mind, in particular, is very vulnerable to the things you tell yourself and repeat, so it makes sense to use this to your advantage. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. Napoleon Hill. Your subconscious never stops. It is working while you are awake and sleeping. You cannot control your subconscious 100%, but you can to a large degree, especially by using emotions. The subconscious mind is far more affected by emotions than the regular brain, which is more about logical thought and reason. If you feel emotions towards something, you're more likely to put a plan into action and attempt to get it or fix it. There are 7 positive emotions: desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. Your subconscious mind is less under your conscious control and is often affected by your wavering emotions. By using the 7 positive emotions, desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, and hope, you can create a positive mindset. It is impossible to be both positive and negative at the same time. One has to override the other. By kicking out the negative emotions, fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, anger, and superstition, you can create a more positive subconscious mind, which will be of far greater use to you. This is called the law of habit. law of habit allows you to become a more positive person by focusing on the 7 positive emotions. Did you know the human brain's default setting is towards the negative side of the spectrum? This is designed to keep us safe and look for threats, dating back to the days of cavemen and women.